Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 o'clock, a little bit after 3 o'clock, Central Standard Time. So y'all know what time it is. It is time for Book Talk Live. Y'all gotta forgive me for the birthday behavior. Ball cap, always repping at H-Town. Houston Astros, you know how we do. Win, lose, or draw, we still in this thing. But listen, today I have an extremely special guest with me today. I have I have a long time. I call her my little sister. Y'all call her the queen, Miss Destiny Inspire, and she is going to talk about her new release, her #1 Amazon best-selling new release, as well as a few things that she has going on. So, thank y'all for jumping in. Thank y'all for tuning in. Miss Destiny, how you doing today, sis?
I am good, my brother, my king, as always call you king. I'm blessed today. I can't even complain. Look, sharing this video, starting a watch party.
There you go.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
I'm excited though. I honor you for having me.
hey, it's always an honor and a privilege anytime we're in the same virtual room, so to speak. From Georgia to Texas, right?
That's
So
it.
so tell the people a little bit about you. I want them to, because I know there are a lot of people out there who do know exactly who you are. But there's a lot of people that don't know who is Destiny Inspire.
So Destiny Inspire is a girl from Augusta, Georgia, now in Atlanta, Georgia, whose entire purpose and platform is to reach women and help them tap into their purpose by overcoming unhealthy cycles, converting their pain into power, and living their God-given assignment. Apart from that, I'm the leader of the Queen Council, a women empowerment movement that empowers, impacts, and inspires women. It helps us level up spiritual development, personal development, as well as professional development, the holistic woman. Apart from that, I am an empowerment speaker. I'm a master certified life coach, also known as Empowerment Juggernaut. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I'm your girl. That's Destiny Inspire in a nutshell.
There you go. And I remember a few years ago we went through an amazing course together, and I highly recommend it to new speakers, new coaches. Boss under the business of speaking and coaching under our amazing coach, Mr. Kendall
Mr.
Ficklin. We
K.
always got to give him,
Mr. K.
yeah, Mr. K. We always got to give him honor for I guess putting that fire under us. Um, I remember so many times, and he would come at us, and he would say, "You know what? You got to put in that work," and that's exactly what you do. So tell us a little bit about the backstory to Destiny Inspire.
Yeah, so the backstory to Destiny Inspire. Born and raised church girl, close knit family, really religious background. Worked in the church, which I absolutely love serving. Got married, young. Then got divorced young as well. Went through a whole identity crisis. Went through a whole loss of who I was. Didn't know what my purpose in this world was. Didn't know why I existed. Had made up a false identity, or what I thought was real at the time, but made up a false identity of just all of my roles and my titles and responsibilities and my who I was connected to, where I served. I made up this facade. And then when it began to crumble down unknowingly, I realized at the core, I really didn't know who I was, and I really didn't know what my purpose on this earth was to do. Went through a lot of pain, a lot of embarrassing moments, a lot of self-inflicted pain as well. And so finally, I got to a point in my life when I realized that, honey, this can't be God's plan for my life. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Talk about
Ain't
it.
no way. And so it was at that moment when I said, ain't no way that this is God's plan for my life, that I began to dig deeper. I realized that I had seen the world from a very skewed perspective, a very narrow mind, just based on my limit of exposure and experience. And so three of my greatest principles are environment, experience, and exposure. So I changed my environment. I exposed myself to something different. Um, and I created new experiences. And as you mentioned, Boss, that was something I joined. I first joined a group called Grindation. Sorry, not Grindation. Grindation was where I joined with Mr. K. And then before that, I joined a group that led me to Grindation that allowed me to see like there's more to me than meets the eye. Like there's so much more in me that needs to come out of me. And so being under the tutelage and just being under the mentorship and the coaching of people like Mr. K and Kobe Harris and you know, people who were where I wanted to be. It presented something that I did not know was possible, you know, based on my limited, you know, world. I didn't know that the world of empowerment and speaking, or as we call it, even motivation, how pivotal it was, because although I was, you know, I believed in God, I was saved, I needed motivation, right? I needed empowerment. I needed a reason to get out of bed every morning. I needed a reason now to go about and do life. I needed a reason to thrive and not just barely survive. And so joining groups like this and meeting people like yourself, like that gave me the motivation to realize, sis, get up. You gonna cry about it or you gonna boss up? I'ma do both. And so connecting with this, it allowed me to grow. So that led me to write my first book, Discovering Destiny, a 31-day guide to finding yourself and fulfilling your purpose. That led me to speaking now. I've spoken to thousands at a time before. I've spoken at protests. I've spoken at conferences. I've traveled, you know, everywhere. I've gotten certified as a life coach, and then went back and got certified as a master certified life coach. Like I've accomplished so much in a small amount of time, but it was because I made the intentional decision that this is not the way life is supposed to go. And I learned that nobody's going to spoon feed you or hand you anything. If you want it, you have to go after. A lot of times we cry and complain about who doesn't support us, who's not rocking with us, or who's not there for us. And I realized, if you don't get to where you're supposed to go, it's nobody's fault but your own. And so Destiny Inspire embodies, I have a shirt, a quote that goes, grace, grind, and grit. And so Destiny Inspire embodies grace, meaning for one, the grace of God that allows me to do what I do. He graces me to be a speaker, a coach, an author, a consultant. He graces me for those things. But the grind is so separate, right? The grind don't come with it. The grind is what you have to put in to go after what you say you want. And then the grit is what you develop over time. It's when you fall down, you get back up, you fail, you learn to turn that failure into fuel. That's where the grit comes from. So Destiny Inspire is the embodiment of grace, grind, and grit, which makes up the empowerment juggernaut. And a juggernaut, for those who don't know, is a huge, powerful, overwhelming force that crushes everything in its path. And so as a juggernaut, I empower and encourage other women to be juggernauts of their own life, to crush whatever is standing in their way from where they are and where they're designed to be. And so right there in the middle, that's where I meet you. And we carry out that goal. We set up a plan of action and we conquer. So that's the backstory of Destiny Inspire all the way to the present. So
come on now. You have so much passion and it shows every time. Like you spoke for the program a few times, but it shows in everything that you do. And let's talk about that. That I want to touch on one of my favorite terms is grit, right? Not because we from the South, not grits,
right?
Grit. Yeah, that undying desire to win at all costs, regardless of the obstacles, regardless of what you got to go through, or should we say what you got to grow through. So your movement, right? And like you said, you've been on stages with some of the greats, and I'm pretty sure by now they're saying I was on stage with Destiny instead of it being the other way around, right? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that grit. Like what fuels you to move even when you want to slow down? Because I'm pretty sure everybody wants to know that secret.
Yeah, so it's a couple of things. And it's crazy because even the definition of grit, you know, by Webster's is it's a positive, you know, characteristic in psychology that gives somebody the perseverance to keep going. So my perseverance to keep going is, I always say three things really. One is because I remember the anti-Destiny Inspire, right? I remember the self-sabotaging Destiny Inspire, or before there was a Destiny Inspire, I remember that Destiny. I remember the depressed Destiny, the low self-esteem Destiny. I remember the just fearful Destiny, afraid to do anything, afraid to take a chance on herself, afraid to think differently, afraid to look differently. I remember that girl. I remember the girl that tried to self-medicate herself with alcohol and drinking and a nightlife. Like I tell people all the time, Destiny Inspired could have been Destiny Dynasty, you know, Destiny something else. But it was that grace part of God that kept me and gave me, and I developed the grit and the grind to just find out who I really am. So it's that girl, because I always remember her. And I always say your past is not really your past, because what happens when you're running and a dog is chasing you? If you stop or if you pause, that dog doesn't stop running. The dog not gonna say, oh, they stopped, let me stop real quick. They trying to breathe, let me stop. No, it's gonna keep running. So for me, that perseverance and that grit comes from, I'm running from the girl that I used to be, even the woman that I used to be. Like I'm constantly having to wake up every day running from her, because those things that she dealt with, they're still right there waiting for me to decide to just get comfortable and chill. So I can't do that. I can't go back to the old way of life. I can't go back to those old mindsets. I can't go back to those thinking habits, those unhealthy thoughts, those toxic behaviors. Because truth be told, there's still some things that I'm still dealing with from that girl, right? So there's still things I haven't arrived yet. Like I still have residue that I'm healing from, that I'm getting over, that I'm self-correcting and self-reflecting. So one, I'm running from that girl. Two, I have to think about all of the people that are now connected to me. I have to think about all of the people now who get on a call Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 o'clock a.m. called the Queen Council, right? To get a prayer, to get empowerment, to get encouragement, to keep going on out of their situation, to get encouraged to convert their pain into their power. So that's now accountability, right? Now I'm held accountable for those people. So I can't not decide, oh, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. I changed my mind. Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. I can't do that because now I'm held accountable for this. Like I'm held accountable for the decision that I chose to make, whether good or bad. And so I do it for those women. I do it for the Queen Council on the watch party. Shout out to the Queen Council. I see y'all. I do it for the Queen Council. I do it for the people that follow my movement, who may never tell me, who may just look and say, because of her, I didn't give up today, or because of not even her, but the God in her, because of something that she said, it motivated me to keep going. Because of I know what she went through, or because I've seen her backstory and I see her now, I know that I can do it too. So I do it for them. And then three, I do it because I made a vow to myself, and I made a vow to God that I would be to other women what I needed for myself. Does that mean I'm perfect? Nope, because Lord knows I'm still raggedy and ratchet sometimes, but I try to get that righteousness together. You know, I try to get the righteous part together, but I'm still ratchet sometimes. But I understand that I made a vow to God. I said, God, if you help me, if you get me through this rough patch, if you show me my purpose and show me why am I here, I promise that I will be to these other women what I needed for myself. So this is me every day making that vow and that commitment. When you see me writing books, doing conferences, sending out text messages, creating content, like that is what it's for. Yes, we do things and we can profit from them. But for me, the income is the outcome. The income for me is the outcome that I see when I see another woman decide she wants to be a speaker, or see another woman decide she wants to speak up about an issue, or see another woman decide she wants to go to therapy, she wants to heal, or she wants to get a life coach. Like that is the income for me, that outcome of changed lives. So those are the three reasons why I have grit. And so if one of them fails, I still got two more to keep me going. Because me, Destiny, I'm not a strong enough driving force, right? Money, that's not a strong enough driving force for me. I'll give up on me. How many times we give up on ourselves or throw in the towel or be like, I'm good. All of this for me, this too much. So it's easy for me to just decide, nah, I'm straight. I don't need it. But for those people that I know are dependent on me, for those, you know, for my sister, you know, for my family members that I know, I want to show them another way. Like that's too strong of something for me to just decide, nah, I'm good. For me, I'll do that for Destiny. Destiny, I'll be like, I'm straight. I don't need this. But when I know it's bigger than me, you don't just quit. It's easy. And I feel like that's why people quit so easy sometimes, because they don't have a strong enough why. Sometimes their why is the clout, it's the money. And when those things fail, or when you accomplish it, it's like, now what? I got the money, I got the status, I got the man, I got the job, I got the car. It's like, what now? So you have to have something stronger that's pulling you. And so those are the things that pull me and push me every day to keep going, to get up. When I want to quit, when I cry, when I have my crying spells, when I have my my low moments. I'm like, all right, I cried about it. Now let's boss up about it. So that's where my grit comes from.
Listen, I can just let you go in because you're saying everything that is everything, right? There's so many people that are counting on you. I remember the conversations before you started the Queen Council. And let's go back to it. Was it easy? Because I think people see you where you're at now and they're like, oh, she always had this in her. She always wanted to do this.
It was and is hard as hell. Like, ain't nothing easy. Listen, people see the highlight reel. That's all they see, but they have no idea. Like, I didn't even want to do, like, I never said I want to be a speaker one day. I didn't even know that was a thing, first of all. Like, being like, I didn't know that, like, where I come from, you either a preacher or you're not. And then even then, women aren't necessarily preachers. Like, you a teacher, a reacher, like, you know. But I knew I didn't want to be that either. But writing books, I never in a million years I think I'd write a book, let alone another book and be a bestseller. Like, never. I never saw that. I was never the vocal person. I was never the girl that was, you know. No, I was in high school. I was kind of like maybe the class clown. I'm gonna be sarcastic, you know. I'd be in my church, I'm the servant, you know, like I just, whatever you need, yes ma'am, yes sir, that's it. Like, that was it for me. Like, I didn't see any of this coming. And so branching out of that, I had a lot of fears. I was afraid. Like, I didn't start driving on the highway. Now I drive all the time to travel and speak. I didn't start driving on the highway until like literally 2 years ago, 2-3 years ago. Like, I was afraid to drive by myself on the highway, never went out of town alone, like never, you know, I was afraid to do everything. Like, so this bold, empowered woman that people see, they think is just this self-sufficient, I don't need no help type demeanor, but it comes from a whole backstory of things that I've had to overcome. And every time I failed, it created more fuel in me to get up and try again. And so that's where this comes from. That's why they see, and people misconstrue your strength for arrogance. But I think it's so interesting that when you were in those low moments, nobody misconstrued that. Like, when you were depressed and, you know, didn't want to live and didn't know what tomorrow would bring, nobody misconstrued that. Nobody had nothing to say about that. But as soon as you rise from the dust of the ashes like the phoenix, then suddenly everybody has so much opinion and so many thoughts of, oh, it's easy, or she just this or that, but they don't see the times that you labored serving. And I always say the greatest 3 secrets of success is serving, sowing, and submitting. They miss those seasons of your life. They didn't see those seasons. They just see the success, right? Serving, sowing, and submission leads to success. So they come in on the success part, and they want to judge and pick, and people, they wait for you to have a moment to fall. They wait for things, but they don't know what you served and where you sowed at to get to where you are. And even now, someone asked me, what's next for Destiny? What you gonna do? I said, now I'm gonna find, how can I serve more? How can I sow into somebody more? How can I submit more? Like, how can I get lower? When it seems like you're going higher, that's when you should go lower. So for me, it's always, how can I serve? What can I do now? Like, because I realized this gift, I did nothing to merit it. I didn't like win a contest and God said, you're the winner, Des. I'm gonna bestow this upon you. I did nothing to deserve it. Nothing. In fact, I should not be in any running to be anything. So it's literally the gift of God. And I value that gift, and I don't take it for granted, because I know me, the Bible is like, my righteousness is as filthy rags, honey. Destiny is filthy. Like, Destiny, you would not like Destiny, but Destiny that walks in purpose, that consults God, that constantly asks for, you know, a clean heart and forgiveness. That's the Destiny that I give out, because that's who at my core, that's who I am. But without me acknowledging like God is the source of everything, man, I am ratchet and raggedy. So I'm just grateful for the grace, grind, and grit that allows me to not be perfect, but be pure and be purposed, and empower other women to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, you dropping like major gems. So I know for a fact I'm going back and borrow my and just listen to this over and over again. You said service, submission,
serve, so submit.
Serve, so submit leads to success. And people miss that because so many people are looking for that. They're looking for that microwave elevator that takes them to the top, where it's like, oh, all of a sudden I'm so and so. And it's like you might want to take a step back and realize that you haven't went through any of what these people who are actually putting in the work on a consistent basis have been through. The pain, the betrayal, the lies, the man.
Got to the betrayal stories, and I pick a small portion of my life to share, and I'm transparent, but I only pick a portion. Like, I don't even pick the series of things. I can wake up a different day and say, what story do we want to share today to empower? I haven't even tapped into the other things that I'm child.
And that's the thing. You walk from season to season, from storm to storm with such grace that on the outside looking in, that's why I said most people look at you and it's like, oh, it must just be easy for her. And like I know you as my little sister, so I know behind the scenes it is so much more that goes on behind it. Let's talk about we'll go into your first book and then we'll talk about your latest project. So you writing your first book was pretty interesting. Tell me.
Discovering Destiny.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about your writing process, because I know a lot of people that have not written books are watching and are wondering, how do I write a book? So what was your process like?
Yeah, so for me with my first book, the process was when you look at it as a whole, it can be overwhelming. Like, and then you always look at, well, how many words do I need? What's the word count? How many pages should it be? But really, you have to clear your mind of the questions and of the, all of the details of how and what, and just do it. You have to decide, what is my message to the world? And what is my purpose for writing this book? I feel like that's where you should start with. What is the intent and what is the purpose? For me, I had an intent and a purpose for writing it. And so again, that ties to your why. Why are you doing it? When you have a strong enough why, it's going to push you those days when you just like, I don't know what to say. Like, it's going to push you. And so for me, I began blogging before I wrote my book. I started a blog called Discovering Destiny, right? And so in that blog, it was kind of like my outlet to just express myself. I used to journal. So a friend convinced me to just blog. So I tried it. And so it allowed me to have this stream of consciousness that just allowed words to flow how I felt without trying to make it perfect, without trying to sound eloquent, just getting it out there, getting it onto paper or onto computer, making it real. And so for me, I started with blogging. So then when I decided to write a book, I was actually able to take my blog entries as chapters and then add to it. And because the book is a 31-day guide to find yourself fulfilling your purpose, I'm like, well, 31 days, then I'll write a chapter a day. So I literally would just sit down and just write. I would just sit there and write. And some days I would write more than one chapter to make up for days where I may not be able to write. But you, just like you commit to something every day, like you commit to doing something, like you commit every day, I got to take a bath. I know I'm running late. I got to take a bath, right? You commit to, you know what? I got to put gas in my car. I have to. I don't want to get gas. I don't have time to get gas. But to get to the next level or the next destination, you need to put gas in your car. So you have to adopt that same mindset for writing a book. Like when you stop making it an option and make it realize somebody needs this, like this is life or death for somebody, this is purpose or no purpose for somebody. When you actually attach something to it, then you do it, right? So you have to attach something to it. So for me, that's what I did. I attached like Des, this is your story, or Des, this is what helped you. You're obligated now to help somebody else. So it's not just about you. So I always say you have to attach something to it that's stronger than yourself, attach a why to it. And then I will reward myself. I would give myself small wins. Like if I, accomplish something one day, I'm like, okay, that's a small win. Let me celebrate that and realize I may not be finished with the book, but look, Des, you're further along in this book now than you were a week ago, than you were 2 days ago. And so when you look back and realize I'm making progress, not perfection, you just keep going a little bit every day. So with Discovering Destiny, my first book, that was the objective. I committed to a certain time of day, or at least like Sundays were like my day. And I still love Sundays. Sundays were my writing day. After church, the church I started going to, it was one of them early churches, like you go or you be done. So I was like, look at God. And so after that, I committed to after church, I'm going to go write. And because I was already kind of motivated and, spirit filled, I'm like, okay, I can do this. And so that was my routine. I created a routine and I created discipline, and I stuck with it every day. Every night I would write, even if I was tired, if I couldn't write but a sentence, like I had to make a commitment. And once you get into a discipline and a routine, it becomes easier. So that's how I wrote Discovering Destiny.
Nice. And you touched on a few really key points, right? You say, one, it's not just about you. And I think that's the thing that most people who start and stop and start and stop and start and stop, they have these amazing ideas for books. And it's like, well, I don't want to do it anymore. And it's like there's somebody literally out there waiting on the words that are coming out of your head and going to land on that paper, that you can literally, if you're writing from the heart, you can save their life or give them something to look forward to, give them something to grow from. But you also said commitment. There's a lot of people that are scared to commit to themselves. Why do you think that is?
Self-confidence. The title of my next book, 7 Keys of Self-Confidence. Stop limiting your life and start unlocking new levels of it. It's the self-confidence. They don't believe they're capable of doing it. Like and what that's called a fixed mindset, right? A fixed mindset is one that says, oh, I'm not good at this, or I can't do this, or this is too much for me. That's a fixed mindset. You have to tap into a growth mindset, which I talk about in the book, a growth mindset that says, I have the ability to learn, or I have the capability to succeed in this, or it's possible for me to learn something new. Because what we don't realize is you can rewire and reprogram the neural pathways in your brain. Like you can create new pathways of thinking in your brain. Like that is scientific. That's not a theory or just something we make up. There's scientific data that you can rewire those pathways in your brain. And because those are our defaults, we go to those same pathways, we create a roadmap, like literally a roadmap in your mind. So every time you get to something hard, your roadmap says, we quit during this time. This is how we quit. No, it's time to quit. So you have to reprogram your mind and create new pathways that condition your mind to say, nope, I can do this. Wait, nope, this is when I come against an obstacle, this is what I do. And so in my 2 years of writing, this is what I've done. I released my first book literally 2 years ago, this month, October, 2 years ago, which is crazy. I didn't even plan it like this, but that's when I released the last book 2 years ago. And so during that time, I was going through a rewiring of creating new pathways in my brain. Whereas I would normally say, you can't do that. That's too hard. You're not good enough. You're not qualified for that. No one's going to listen to you. Those are my go-to pathways, right? But I began to create new ones and say, no, try it. You can do this. Go for it. What's the worst that could happen? Like you have to, and I have a chapter in my new book, and it's called, one of the 7 keys is expect the best, right? Because we always say, like, expect the worst, but prepare for the best. But I don't believe that. I believe in expecting the best. Now, I believe you should accept the worst, because in coaching, you have to accept the worst that could happen, but don't expect it. Like I expect, because I walk in a confidence, I expect for things to work out. And even if they don't, I've already accepted that they don't always work out. But my level of expectation says, oh, Des, you can do this. Oh, Des, this is possible. All things are possible to them that believe. All you need is faith. All you need is the grace, the grind, and the grit to do it. And so that there are people that feel like they can't do it. You just need the self-confidence. You need to unlock it. And it's not that you don't even have it. It's in there. You just have to unlock it and start creating new pathways in your mind to actually believe that it's possible for you. And it is.
Say that. You notice I'm always like, I'm just sitting here speechless after I hear those responses. And I love that you were referring to there's actually a book called Mindset. And it talks about those things, how some people are stuck in a fixed mindset and some people have that growth mindset. And I think that's something that we share, is that growth mindset, because a lot of people expect when you fall that's going to be it. But if you have that fixed mindset, you definitely will. You'll be like, this is my life. This is where I'm always going to be. And with the growth,
woe is me. Nothing ever works out. And then again, I believe in manifestation. I believe, again, I'm a faith believer, so I don't judge anyone for what they believe. But when I say manifestation, I don't mean, crystals and the universe. I serve the God of the universe. When I say manifestation, I believe there is life and death in the power of my tongue. And so as I decree a thing, it has to be established. And because I am a queen, the word says where the word of a king is, there is power. And so that king and queen, that's synonymous. So where the words of a queen is, there is power. So if I say that I can do this, if I say to a mountain, be removed and cast into the sea, if I say it out my mouth, what's going to happen is the reason. So here's the thing, and I'm about to tell the whole book. Hold on. So here's the thing. The reason why there is such a disconnect is because we have cognitive dissonance taking place, right? So cognitive dissonance is when you are not in alignment. Your actions and your thoughts are not in alignment, right? So you're doing one thing, but you believe another, right? And so this goes down to core values too. So your core values are at war with one another because this is what I believe, but this is what I'm doing. And so what's going to happen is your mind is going to say, your mind is not going to be at ease. And so it's going to try to make a connection and say, nah, something here is not right. So for instance, that's why affirmations are so powerful, because I'm speaking out my mouth. I can do this. I'm more than overcomer. Like this too shall pass. I'm better than this. I'm speaking that, but my actions are not lining up with that. So your mom's gonna say, wait a minute, she keeps saying that she can do this. She keeps saying that she's confident, but her actions aren't lining up. So now I'm gonna have to find a way to make these two match, right? Because otherwise you have a cognitive dissonance. It's like, okay, it's almost like when you're fighting yourself, like you're at war with yourself, that's because that's a cognitive dissonance. And so the more you speak a thing, you begin to believe it, your actions are gonna start, you're gonna start manifesting that because you're gonna start aligning things that go along with what you're saying. When for an example, all that means to say this, when I made the cognitive decision to say, I want to be a speaker, I want to be an empowerment speaker. At the time they called them motivational speakers, which they still call them, but I didn't really know empowerment yet. So like, I want to be a motivational speaker. When I made the decision and start wrestling back and forth of, we don't believe in motivational speakers. Oh no, you got to either be a preacher or not. I don't think I can do that. Who gonna listen to me? I'm too young. Like nobody's going to believe what I'm saying. When I stopped wrestling with that and just started saying, I am a motivational speaker. Literally, when I said it, I changed my Instagram profile one day to put speaker, motivational speaker. Had not spoken to a single crowd besides like in church every now and then when they ain't got nobody to speak, they'll call me up to spit some word or whatever because it was in me. But I had never spoken to an audience. But because I made the decision and I spoke it out my mouth and I spoke it into the atmosphere and I said, this is what I am and this is what I want to do. Not even a week after I made the decision to stop wrestling, not even a week, somebody hit me up. My first coach, Kobe Harris, he hit me up and was like, hey, I noticed you're a speaker. And I'm like, I just changed that. And I was like, I dabble with it, never spoke before, but I made the decision, this is what I want. And when I made the decision to stop vacillating in my mind, I kept saying, I can do this. I can do this. My actions began to align and I began to manifest in the atmosphere exactly what I was believing for. And if he had not have reached out to me, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know how I would have really got on this journey, because once he reached out to me, that's when I joined my first coaching group. That's when I first got introduced to E.T. the hip hop preacher. Had never heard of E.T. And that's rare for somebody in my generation 2 years ago don't know E.T. I didn't know E.T. I'm like, who? I saw a video that he did called Love Conquers All in my community. And that video changed my life. I watched E.T. every morning consistently for almost a year straight, every morning, just to get out of the bed and go to work, just to get out of the bed. So I know that it works. I know that it's real. I know motivation is a real thing. Empowerment, it's a real thing. And so I did that. And then I met Coach K, because Coach K was Kobe's coach. And so I met Coach K in the G fam. And so that really gave me the business of speaking and coaching. But it all started with manifestation, with believing in my mind, believing in my heart, and speaking it out of my mouth, and allowing my actions to now go into work for me and create my world. So I created, by your words, your world is framed, right? So I framed my world with my words and then began to align my actions to get rid of that cognitive dissonance. And again, you created new pathways in your brain. So now when I fall, when I fail, when I make a mistake, instantly I bounce up, because my brain goes to my new default setting, which is, oh, we always bounce back. Oh, we don't stay down. Oh, let's figure out a way to reverse engineer this pain and convert it into power. That's what my mind goes to. I never go to depression anymore. Like, oh my gosh, like this always happens to me. Every time I turn around, I could, but those are the old pathways, right? I had to go where there was never a path and start leaving a new trail. And so that's my encouragement to anyone watching. Go where there isn't a path and now leave a trail. But success always leaves clues. I can't leave that out. Success will always leave clues to the right path. And you just got to create that in your mind and believe I can. Stop going to those old default settings that cause you to fall in sorrow, valley, and woe is me, and I'll never do this. And every time you know how much stuff, and I know I'm going on a tangent here, but you get me excited. You know how much stuff I deal with on a daily basis. I deal with a lot of crap from people, even from myself, from just a lot of different things. But because I've created those new pathways in my brain to understand, we don't default to old habits. I don't default to drinking no more. I don't default to going out to nightlife no more. I don't default to other things that are not healthy and conducive to my purpose. I don't default to that no more. So you have to create new pathways, create new things. If you want results that you've never had before, you got to do some things you've never done before. Complaining, that's not helped you before. That ain't got you nowhere. Throwing a pity party, feeling sorry for yourself, always down and out, that has not done too well for you, I don't think. So it's time to do something different. 7 keys to self-confidence. Stop limiting your life and start unlocking new levels. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, if y'all have not already gotten the ebook, the ebook is already an Amazon #1 bestseller. She's already killing the game. And now you're focused on getting it out, getting the hard copies out, right?
Yeah.
I know you went in. Ed has already dropped your Amazon link, and he's already dropped the link to get the book, the 31-day guide, as well as the 7 keys, right? So let's talk about the book a little bit more. If you want to give them a little bit more of what to expect on the interior of that book.
Yeah, and they can get the signed copy with the bookmark to go with it from my website, destinyinspired.com/shop/7keys. Get a signed copy with your bookmark to go with it. Yeah, so what they can expect on the inside of that book, which is crazy because someone was reading yesterday and they was like, it's the dedication page for me. So from the offset, you know, I'm dedicating this book to really my queens. I'm dedicating it to those who support me, who watch me blossom and grow into my confidence, that are now able to walk into theirs. And so in the book, I start with just identifying, do I lack self-confidence? Like, are you saying I don't have self-confidence? And so I address that. I tackle the do I, or what if. I tackle that question head on. And then I kind of, debunk some disclaimers that we believe about ourselves. And then from there, I go into a key, and it's not a long read at all. I didn't put a lot of fluff in it, right? I wanted to get right to the point, right to the keys, right to what's going to be substance for you. Not so you don't got to read through a lot of fluff. Like I'm hitting you right at your pain points where it hurts. I'm hitting you with some of the keys. One of them is you got to have a positive posse, right? And I like to bring that one up, a positive posse, because it was my positive posse that helped me accomplish this goal. Shout out to the Queen Council again and the network of ambassadors for Destiny Inspired, a positive posse. And a lot of times we're still trying to hold on to people that, we call our A1 from day one, or, our old environments, because we feel like, we feel bound by loyalty. And so something I've been even talking over, if I can be transparent, something I've been talking over even with my own therapist, is my ability to allow love and loyalty to limit me, right? Love and loyalty were never meant to limit you. The late Dr. Maya Angelou, who's one of my sheroes, she talks about love liberates. So love liberates you. So if you are around people and you say you love them, or they say they love you, and you don't feel liberated around them, you don't feel liberty to be who you really are supposed to be, or they make you feel bad about certain ideas or certain things you do, or, not saying that people don't, now I'm not talking about positive correction and, those types of things, but I'm talking about people, you give them an idea and they're like, girl, you can't do that, or I don't know about that, or I would, people who don't immediately be like, you know what, let's do it, or let me help you, even if there's a better way. They say, well, let's work on that, or let's, the people who are not really having your best interests at heart, or we try to hold on to old friendships, relationships, situationships that are not conducive to the growth that we want to see and where we want to go. you got to cut that off. So you have to develop a positive posse. And in that particular chapter, I literally lay out a series of questions, because as a master life coach, or as a life coach in general, at our core, we believe that within you lies the answers, right? We don't solve your problems. So that's what therapy and life coach is very different. I make that clear. Life coaches, we take you where you are and help you get to where you want to go, right? It's progressive, it's movement. And in that, we ask what we call powerful questions. And those powerful questions will cause you to think for yourself. Because if I'm always solving your problems, I become your crutch now. You'll always come to me to solve it, right? It's one thing to come to me for guidance on how to help solve it yourself. But if you're always relying on a get out of jail free card to come and rescue you, you'll never develop what you need to keep going. And even in life coaching, at some point, everything has to come to an end, right? At some point, if you have other goals, you come back, now there are new goals you're working on, but there should be progress. So in the book, I give you these powerful reflection questions, these powerful self-coaching questions. And I did the same thing in my first book without even knowing that's what it was. But I allow you to really sit with yourself and listen to these questions. So I'm going to help you to identify, do I have a positive posse or not? And you're going to be able to identify the things in your own life that is keeping you from the confidence that you need to conquer. Like tapping into self-confidence was one of the game changers for me. And because of the posse that I have around me, or whatever you want to call it, your crew, your tribe, your team, because I am surrounded by such positivity, when I think of an idea, there is no such thing as that's too big. Like, that's why I feel like that's why I'm able to execute on such a high level, because in my mind, those new pathways, I don't even believe in impossible anymore. Like, what is that? If like in the matter of 2 weeks, Sugar Ray, you seen I launched a conference, a new course for the next 2 months, and a book within the same like week span. Because in my mind, why not? What is that like? Is that like a heart, not a thing or something? Because there was no one at no point in my ear saying, oh, that's too much, or you should wait. At no point did I have that in my ear. And so because what you're surrounded, your environment will shape your reality. And I only connect with those people who are on the same wavelength as I am. And so positive posse is going to be like a really game-changing chapter. Honor your health. I talk about honoring your health, not just physical health, but we're triune beings, mind, body, and spirit. How do you honor that? That gives you the confidence that you need. And I give you a list. I give you charts on things that you can do. Like, it's a really hands-on read, right? So it's, anyway, in a nutshell, I'm not going to keep going on.
Oh, I already know, because I've seen the interior of the book, the virtual interior of it. And so it was an honor to help you launch it yesterday. And I think I'm most proud of the fact that you were able to allow those queens to pour into you.
Oh, and that was hard.
I know. It was funny, and it was life-changing at the same time. It was funny because as a giver, you are always, you will deflect a lot of times. Like when somebody's giving you that praise, when somebody's giving you those compliments, you always deflect. It's like you are in the eternal Heisman pose, right? So seeing that yesterday was amazing. But we're not just gonna skip past the conference, those courses, or even something we talked about yesterday.
Yeah.
That I know when what you do with it is going to be next level, just because I know you, right? So let's talk about you launched a conference and that was 2 weeks ago, Killer Conference, right? And I obviously did not attend because it was for the women, it was for the queens, but I always hear it from, you have mouthpieces all over. So they talk about it. Man, this was amazing. This was next level. Immediately after that, you launched a course called Speak Up, Sis.
Speak Up, Sis.
Talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So, and I it's interesting because I know we always talk about having like a plan, like a business plan, having a plan, but I have a plan, but my plan is to be like led by like the Holy Spirit. So even with the conference, sometimes something will just drop in my spirit and I'll just start executing on it. So I it's not that I like premeditate stuff months in advance. Like literally the conference happened a couple weeks in advance, right? And I gave I want to give a full 4 weeks to plan it, 4 weeks to promote it. But it probably came about maybe 2 to 3 weeks before the promotion even started. And so what the conference was about, I was just sitting in my car one day driving to Walmart, and then before I got out the car, I probably sat in Walmart parking lot about 2 hours, like just as it was being downloaded in me, just kind of fleshing it out in my notepad and my iPhone. And I realized that what it takes is, so there's so many things that are after us, right? We always talk about things that killed our joy, or it killed my hope, or, it killed my relationship, it killed my confidence. And so I realized like, we're letting all of these things kill out stuff in us. When are we going to start becoming the killers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm tired of being the victim. Like, can I be the killer sometime? Like, can I go on a killing spree? So I realized it's time for us to develop the type of confidence that kills these things, that kills insecurities, that kills doubt, that kills unbelief, that kills out whatever's trying to kill the purpose in our life. And so the conference was simply about killing out whatever's trying to kill my confidence, whatever's trying to kill my goals. And so once we had the conference, I'm always trying to find the gaps, right? So I'm like, well, Des, what do you miss when you do a conference? Okay, after I've done this conference, you've got me hyped up, you got me motivated, I'm excited, I got confidence, but what do I do now, right? Like, where do I start? So I said, I can't leave them hanging. So sis, now that you got the killer confidence, it's time to speak up. Take that confidence now and now speak your story. Speak what it is that you want to see. Like speak what it is that you know is going to change the world. Because we all have a story to tell, right? But nobody cares about your story. They care about how you came out of your story. And so with this course, it's another way also for me to pour into women to do what I do, except do it even greater. My mentor always says, when I say, I want to be just like you, he tells me, Des, don't be like me, be better than me. And so my objective is to pour what I have into other women, to every tree reproduces of its own kind, because that's also how legacy is built. Like I tell my queens on the Queen Council when the morning, it's like, there is no monopoly on empowerment. There's no monopoly on women empowerment. Like there's no, oh, she doing that, or that's my thing. No, queen, I have no monopoly on the word queen. Do I brand it and coin it? Very well, I do, if I say so myself, but I don't have a monopoly on it. So it's my job to make sure that I'm not just winning, but I'm creating more women to win. I'm not just a boss, but I'm creating bosses who walk in their own right and in their own audience, because your life is a target market, believe it or not. Just like every business has a target audience that you serve, right? Babies are us. The target audience is women, mothers, for children, for babies. They don't care if a grown 45-year-old man says, I just don't like this store. It's just, I don't like nothing about it. There's nothing in here for me. I don't like the products. Nobody cares, because you're not assigned to that market. And so with our lives, we have to realize it doesn't matter who doesn't support us. It doesn't matter who doesn't agree, who doesn't like it. There are a select group of people who are assigned to your life. And it's your job to speak up, sis, and give them what they need. People pay people who solve problems. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. People pay people to solve problems. These burgers need flipping. These fries need frying. I need to hire someone who's going to solve this problem for me. So there are people waiting for you to be the problem solver, right? And so they're waiting for you to do what you're called to do and use your voice, use your platform, use your positive influence to change another life. And so Speak Up Sis embodies that. It embodies, sis, listen, it's time to speak up. No more sitting on the sidelines of your life. No more being silent. No more being ashamed of what you've been through. And for women, especially, because I know we are ashamed of the things that we've been through, not knowing. For me, the very things that I were ashamed of was the very things that God wanted to use for his glory. So everything, the low self-esteem, the depression, the divorce, the wearing a wedding ring for 3 months and didn't have a husband, like those kinds of things were things that I was ashamed of, that I didn't want to address or acknowledge. But when I started speaking up, when sis started speaking up, and she did it from a place of healing, not a place of, of strife or envy or pain, but a place of genuine healing, a place of genuinely like, I want to see other women not go through what I went through, or if they are going through it, I want to show them, sis, me too, but look at me now. And so that's what Speak Up Sis is about. It's about, we're going to structure your signature story. We're going to find what's your message. We're going to help you locate your market. We're going to help you, even if you don't want to be a speaker, if you just want to be a better communicator, We're going to help you learn to speak up, sis. And so November cohort is completely full because I want it to be intimate, because I want to be hands-on. I don't want just a big group of women and we just like, I want to be able to be personable with each woman on that cohort. So November is already full, but December is still open. We have a few slots left for December. That's on the website, destininspire.com/shop/speak up, speak up. So really that's what Speak Up Sis is about. Like, it's about me giving back and me now taking all the tools that I've learned and developed and pouring them back into women who are ready to dominate, because we should all be dominating in our own right.
That's what I'm talking about. So if y'all have not already done so, you need to run over to that website, destinyinspire.com/shop/speak up, so that y'all can be in that next cohort. Because when I tell you that this young lady is moving and she is making moves, she's making an impact, she's making waves, not just here in the US, not just in Georgia. She is making waves across the nation and across this globe. And I don't see her slowing down anytime soon. So people want to know, how can they connect with you, and what's the best way to connect with them? I know you have a few different options for them.
Yeah.
So,
they can always hit me up on Facebook. Destiny King Cannon is the government. Destiny Inspire is my business page. And if you cannot send a friend request, just simply follow me. If you press follow on my Facebook page, you'll still get all the content I produce. Set your notifications to see first. So anything that I put out, you'll be the first to know, you'll be the first to see it. I also have a app. It is a global safe space for women. It's a women empowerment app, the ultimate app. And it's called Crowned, CROWNED, Crowned by Destiny Inspire. And there's no S at the end of Inspire, just Destiny Inspire, Crowned by Destiny Inspire. In that app, there's tons of resources. We have a Crown community where I go in and I chat with my Queen sisters. It's like our own little built-in social media page. There's blogs, there's videos, there's inspirational music. There's a prayer wall. You can send in prayer requests. There's a fitness center. Like, it's the ultimate women empowerment app. So download that. It's available on Apple Store as well as Google Play. We don't discriminate against the ministries. We let, if you're both Android or Apple, we welcome you with open arms, sis. You're welcome, and you're welcome, right? Instagram at Destiny_Inspire, right? Destiny Inspire. My website, destinyinspire.com. Go and subscribe. My subscribers and my app subscribers, they always get first dibs on, whatever I release. Like, even my book, it releases first to my subscribers, those who rock with me, those who faithfully, consume the content I produce. So you definitely want to download the app, cut your notifications on the app as well, because I send out, royal reminders, encouragements. I also send out codes for, first exclusive looks and discounts. So yeah, all things Destiny Inspire. And I'm here to help my sisters, right? Help my queens.
There we go. Well, I want you to, I know we can go for hours and hours, but I want you to leave them with something. What is it that you want this group of potential authors, future authors, or people that are just tuned in because they love your story? Give them something, some motivation, some quick empowerment.
Yeah. So the first empowerment I say is you need to connect with Sugar Ray Destin if you have not. I want to empower you to do that. And the reason why I want to empower you to do that is because it's time for you to convert your pain into power. It's time out for living in the past and not learning to live with it, right? When I say live with it, meaning, yes, it hurt. Yes, the offense may have not been your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. And now that you have experienced that, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to someone else to share your story or whatever your message is that's going to change this world. You owe it, right? You are building a legacy. Everything that we do, we have to keep in mind legacy. Those who will come behind you, that when you're long gone, like, they're going to remember the things that you said in that book. They're going to remember the message, the story, the experiences that you had. And so I want to empower you to don't be afraid and don't be ashamed, because could it not be that you did not go through what you went through for such a time as this? Could it not be that every trial, every pain, every low moment, every disappointment and upset was not used to be able to build something that this world would come to see, right? I always say build and they will follow. Don't worry about who's not there. Don't worry about how. Connect with like-minded people. Get that positive posse who is going where you're going. And it starts right here. You got Sugar Ray if you're trying to get that book done. Queen, you got me if you're trying to walk into your empowerment as in speaking, or you need that accountability as a coach, a life coach. I'm here. And so I want to empower you to do that. There's no excuse now. If 2020 has taught us anything, is that there's no excuse and there's no time, right? There is no time anymore. So you got to maximize what you got.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Well, listen, at this point, I'll open it up for questions from people. And do you mind? I actually got a few copies of your book yesterday. So if there's anybody that wants an ebook copy, if you just comment book, and if you're in one of the watch parties, you actually have to convert over to the actual live video, because I can't see what's in those watch parties. If you comment book, we'll actually send you a free copy of her latest book. And I'll do that for the first, I'll say 5 or 10 people that actually comment. I'll send that book over. And also, we always do a live Cash App giveaway. So it's a $25 Cash App giveaway for the first person that comments cash. So you got two winning opportunities really quick. Book to get the free ebook of the 7 keys to self-confidence, and cash for those. And I give y'all about a minute, because if that minute passes and I don't see no comments, guess what? My B-Day is tomorrow and I got stuff to do. So there we go. Ashley Thomas I'll get that book to you, Ashley. And
y'all have to go to make sure you're on Sugar Ray Destin's page. Yes, if you go to my page and you see where I've been tagged Sugar Ray Destin, you got to go to his page because he can't see it on our watch party.
Yeah. So if they're commenting book, they jump over to the live video. We can go ahead and do that. And Ashley commented cash. So I'll still leave it open for those of you who want the book, and the Cash App giveaway is already done. But sis, I love you. I'm proud of everything that you are doing. You are doing amazing work. You are empowering and inspiring the world. But I'm going to say, you just getting started. And I can honestly see it. You have that energy, you have that passion, and that purpose is sitting on you. Like anybody that doesn't see it from your big bro, tell them I can still throw the black hoodie on if as necessary. I go on record as saying that. But listen, keep doing what you're doing. You are changing lives. You are changing lives across this globe. And I am super duper proud of you and can't wait to see what's next. Love you.
Okay, I love you too.
All right.